No way. They did it. They finally did it. The highly anticipated mega showdown fight between William Zepeda and Shakur Stevenson is about to happen. And according to Oscar de la Hoya from Golden Boy, he says that the fight is already being finalized and they're just waiting to see which city is going to be taking place at. So we do know it's not going to be taking place in Riyadh season. It's going to be here in the States and it's going to be taking place in July. I know there was rumors that this fight was going to be taking place in Newark. That's where Shakur Stevenson is from. But Oscar de la Hoya said it would not be taking place in Newark or in Mexico. It's probably going to be taking place in Las Vegas. Now this fight has been years in the making, but I am just glad it's finally happening. Hey, once you think about it, if Shakur Stevenson didn't go through that rant accusing Turki Al-Sheikh of going back on his word of paying him what they talked about in the beginning, he probably wouldn't have got the Zepeda fight next, because that move probably pressured Turki Al-Sheikh to make the fight happen because he looked bad in front of the public. The moral of this story, I guess, is the squeaky wheel gets the grease. If Shakur Stevenson would have never have said nothing, he probably wouldn't have made this fight happen. Boy, I tell you, man, the boxing world will eat you alive if you let it. Shakur Stevenson is like, nope, not me, and I don't bow down to no one except for Turki Al-Sheikh. But guess what, guys, this fight is gonna be a classic. I cannot wait for this fight. It's been years in the making and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be action packed. I actually have Zepeda beating Shakur Stevenson if Shakur Stevenson has his messed up hands. If Shakur Stevenson comes in with brittle hands and Zepeda puts in that pressure, I have Shakur Stevenson either being stopped in the stool or getting TKO or his corner throwing in the towel. Now Shakur Stevenson has not been looking good in the last 2 years, and I believe Shakur Stevenson is one of the best boxers around. He's not a fighter, he is a pure boxer. But if both of his hands are hurt and they're weak, what kind of fighter are you? You're gonna get stopped by somebody like Zepeda or either Tank Davis. To tell you the truth, I think you will last longer with Tank Davis than with Zepeda, because Zepeda puts in that pressure early and Tank Davis does not put in that pressure to like the 4th or 5th round because he's trying to download you. But if Shakur Stevenson has brittle hands against Tank, I see Tank getting frustrated that Shakur Stevenson is not attacking him and he will engage in the attack first. Now Shakur Stevenson versus Gervonta Tank Davis, the self-proclaimed face of boxing, sounds really good on paper. But if you look on my back videos, I've said it once and I will always say, I believe Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson, at least the first 5 or 6 rounds are going to be very boring, no action at all. And that's if Shakur Stevenson comes in with brittle hands. Shoot, even if he comes in healthy, he will still be scared that he's gonna injure his hands during battle. And I have never seen Tank Davis buckle or hurt. So how is Shakur Stevenson gonna keep Tank off of him, similar to how Tank Davis started attacking Frank Martin and Frank Martin got kind of like gun shy after that? I believe Shakur Stevenson is one of the best boxer counterpunchers that there is. But when somebody hits hard and he's trying to punch you and you're trying to block it, you usually block it with your hands. So even if your hands are hurt, it's going to be kind of hard to block shots as well. I know Shakur Stevenson keeps trying to shake his hands during battle, and this has been going on for almost 2 years, and I have not seen any improvement on it. Even Shakur Stevenson stated that he's going to reach out to Floyd Mayweather, one of the greatest fighters of all time. And Shakur wants to see what Floyd Mayweather did because he had similar issues with his hands. And Shakur Stevenson said he wants to know that procedure because he wants to extend his career. Now, if Shakur Stevenson said he wants to extend his career, that means he knows his hands are not getting better. I believe that's when Floyd Mayweather did the transition from the action-packed pretty boy Floyd to the defensive-minded Money Mayweather to preserve his hands and have a defensive style and only punch when needed. But Shakur Stevenson, I believe, has worse hands than Floyd Mayweather. That's why his past 2 or 3 fights have been very boring and no action. And Edwin de los Santos and Shakur Stevenson actually broke the record for the most boring fight in the world and the fight with the least punches thrown. Now, when my little kids are bad and they're hyper, I just put on a Shakur Stevenson fight and they fall asleep right away. Just kidding, champ. I know your hands hurt. I'm just playing, man. That's why you have not fought any top level fighter, and I actually have any top fighter beating Shakur Stevenson if he does not fix them hands.
I hurt my hand. Bitch.
Hey, but if Shakur Stevenson comes in clean, 100%, no hand injury, I've had him beating the living ish out of Zepeda. But it will be a shame if a great fighter like Shakur Stevenson ends like that and he goes out like that. His career ends because of his hands, because it seems like it could happen like that. Because Shakur Stevenson at 100%, I really have him beating everybody, even Tank Davis. I just think anybody with a high volume punch that has a decent chin and solid power could actually beat the living ish out of Shakur Stevenson. Put it this way, say you get in a street fight but you don't swing back and you just try to avoid that guy's punches, but the guy is missing. What's gonna happen? I mean, who wins? Maybe you're trying to get your opponent tired. But I believe even if Shakur Stevenson comes in at 100%, he will not be Zepeda the way that Zepeda will be Shakur Stevenson if Shakur Stevenson comes in with brittle hands. Because Shakur Stevenson stated that he wants to prolong his career. That means he's gonna try to preserve every single punch. Even if he sees openings, he probably will not punch you unless he's 100% sure it's gonna land. But guess what, guys? I ain't the biggest, I'm the baddest. And if you wanna hop on your boy, throw $1 at the super thanks. I got a roll. Peace.
I shook up the world! I shook up the world! I shook up the world!